Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NFL Week 15. My name is Sia Nejad with WinDailySports.com. Just like every week, I give you my 3 favorite plays against the spread and my 3 favorite games to play in daily fantasy. Let's get started. The Atlanta Falcons are at home against the Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons are getting 6 points at home in this division rivalry game. Listen, the Buccaneers have not been that impressive on either side of the ball lately. I understand the Falcons don't have much to play for. I also understand that Julio Jones may not play in this game. I still like the Falcons. 6 is too many. Speaking of 6, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Arizona. They are getting 6 or 6.5, depending on where you look. Frankly, if this line was 5 or 5.5, I would still like the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is moving the pocket. He is buying time. He is running forward with his legs, and he is running the read option. It's too much for this Arizona defense to handle. I wouldn't be shocked if the Philadelphia Eagles win this outright, but take them at 5, take them at 6, take them at 6.5. If you're getting the plus points there, it is a good bet. Take the Philadelphia Eagles. Finally, speaking of good bets, the Cleveland Browns travel to the New York Giants. It may be a New York Giants team led by Colt McCoy or Daniel Jones. We'll have to monitor the situation from an injury standpoint. You can monitor that via Fantasy Sports Radio, including the Win Daily Sports Show on Saturday nights. But listen, if it's Colt McCoy, if it's Daniel Jones, it shouldn't matter because this Browns offense is really moving the ball effectively, not just with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but also through the air. Baker Mayfield has been very impressive. This Giants defense is good, but they won't be able to stop the 1-2 punch of the pass and the run. Give me the Browns -4, -4.5, depending on where you get it. The Houston and Indianapolis game, that is my first favorite stack to play. Listen, when I talk stacks, I want shares of players on both sides of the ball in DFS. This Houston-Indy game has a total of 51 points. It'll probably click up to 52 by game time. I love this game. Listen, Deshaun Watson is potentially down a couple of receivers. We will have to monitor that situation, but I love him in a stack with Kiki Kuti. If Brandon Cooks plays, he is potentially viable. Also, Chad Hansen is viable. These are all reasonably priced receivers. I love Deshaun Watson with any of those receivers, if not 2 of them. Jordan Akins is also in play at tight end. On the other side of the ball, Indianapolis will be able to move the ball extremely effectively against this very injured Houston defense. They are very injured, particularly on the back end at cornerback and safety. So Rivers will be able to hit T.Y. Hilton. He will be able to hit Michael Pittman, and they will be able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. So you could do a Deshaun Watson stack with those receivers that I mentioned, and bring it back with a couple of guys with the Colts. Maybe a T.Y. Hilton and a Jonathan Taylor. Of course, you can also stack Phillip Rivers, but Deshaun Watson is my preferred quarterback in that stack. Next, we have Detroit at Tennessee. Listen, Detroit is also banged up. We got to monitor the Matthew Stafford situation. It doesn't look like Kenny Golladay is going to play, but listen, you want to have shares of the Tennessee Titans. You can bring it back with the Detroit players. What do I mean? Give me Tannehill potentially with an A.J. Brown and a Corey Davis. Or you can give me Tannehill with a Derrick Henry. I understand you don't normally want to pair a quarterback with a running back, but you can do that in this case. A Tannehill and Henry stacked with an A.J. Brown, and then you bring it back with a Marvin Jones. If you want to get really tricky, maybe a Danny Amendola or a Quentin Cephas. We can do either way you want to go. I prefer Marvin Jones, and then on the other side, you get 2 or maybe 3 Tennessee Titans, including perhaps Ryan Tannehill. I do want to note that Chase Daniel is the quarterback for the Detroit Lions if Matthew Stafford doesn't play. I do not like Chase Daniel in that stack. You're going to want to stack the other side with Ryan Tannehill. Finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Now, this is a Jacksonville team led by Gardner Minshew this time. He will be able to sling it, and he will be able to hit guys like DJ Shark, who have been kind of unimpressive these last couple games. But believe me when I tell you, Shark will get targets. Conley will get targets. Keelan Cole, of course I'm talking about Chris Conley. Keelan Cole will get targets. So Gardner Minshew, no, you don't want to stack there. You want to stack on the Lamar Jackson side with perhaps a Mark Andrews. I do want to point out there are some COVID concerns with the receiver core with the Baltimore Ravens, so you want to monitor that. But Mark Andrews appears to be clear at this time. So a Lamar Jackson with Mark Andrews, and then you stack it on the other side with perhaps a DJ Shark and or a James Robinson. All of those guys are in play. Again, Lamar Jackson is the anchor to that stack. He will run the ball. He should be able to pass the ball against this terrible Jacksonville Jaguars defense. So those are the stacks I like. Those are the games I like against the spread. You can hear much more on Fantasy Sports Radio. You can catch the Win Daily Sports Show every Saturday night on Fantasy Sports Radio. I'm looking forward to a prosperous Week 15, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Week 16. Let's get it done.